Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting Amazing Moves number 4. In this series I present some of the greatest moves played in chess history. And in this video you're about to watch Kolmov-Bronstein from the Russian Championships 1965. Kolmov is playing white and we're heading for an explosive Sicilian game. e4, c5, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, a6, the knight off variation, bishop g5, e6, f4, bishop e7, queen f3, queen c7, castle queenside, knight b d7, g4, b5, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, and also playable is of course knight takes f6, after which an interesting pawn sack has been played hundreds of times, g5, knight d7 and f5. But that's of course a different story. G takes f6 and f5, knight e5, queen h3, castles, and now Kolmov plays an extremely sharp move. He plays g5. He could of course also have prepared g5 first by playing rook g1. But g5 was the move, and Bronstein is not afraid of the complications, so he played b4. But perhaps objectively better was f takes g5, and after f takes e6, f takes, knight takes, queen d7, knight d5, rook f3. I think the game offers Bronstein good chances. But as I said, Bronstein was not afraid. He played b4, and then came g takes f6, bishop takes f6, rook g1 check, king h8. And with queen h6, Kolmov is threatening queen takes f6 with checkmate, queen e7 to defend the bishop, and it seems that Bronstein is just holding everything together. The bishop on f6, which is defended by the queen, controls g7, and he will fairly quickly be able to play rook g8 to neutralize the white attack. And furthermore, he's currently attacking the knight on c3, so this should give Bronstein time to survive the attack. And indeed, if Kolmov simply moves the knight a4, for example, then a move like bishop b7, and after f takes, it's hard to see how white should continue the attack without letting Bronstein into the game again. And also, if, for example, f takes, and knight to e2 instead, then bishop g7 planning rook g8 would be satisfactory for Bronstein. And of course, Kolmov also saw all this and wondered how he could make a more continue the attack on the black position. And what Kolmov realized was that he would like to attack the weak spot on h7. But to be able to attack this weak spot, he would have to play his bishop to d3, and then attack the pawn on h7. But that would require the central pawns here to be removed. And to remove the pawn on e4, he would have to remove the black knight on e5. And I think this is perhaps how he reasoned and came up with the amazing move played against a world-class opponent as Bronstein in a Russian Championship game. It's really amazing to me. The move that Kolmov came up with was knight c6. The idea behind the sack is, as I said, to be able to attack the weak h7 spot. And I don't know if Kolmov calculated deeply or if he played this move on intuition. But in any case, I think this is an amazing piece sack to play against a player like Bronstein and in the Russian Championships. And it's first of all, we note that Bronstein cannot move his queen. because then queen takes f6 checkmate. So Bronstein has to take the piece, and then comes e5, which is executing the first part of Kolmov's plan. And now Bronstein had some options here. Knight takes e5, then knight e4 attacking the bishop on f6, and it cannot move, so it is lost. And the best defense for Bronstein would be knight g6, but then knight takes f6, queen takes f6, and f takes g6. And now black would have to play queen g7, because f takes g6, then bishop g2, attacking the rook on a8, and also threatening a rook to f1, winning the rook on f8. So he would have to play queen g7. And then after queen takes, king takes, g takes h7 with check, then king h7 would lose to rook d4. There's a checkmate in the next move. So he would have to play king h8, and after rook takes d6, white has a clear advantage. Instead of knight takes e5, Bronstein could have played bishop takes e5. And then Kolmov surely had planned f6, clearing the path for the bishop on to d3. Bishop takes f6 and bishop d3. And now we see this attack on the weak h7 pawn. And it's impossible to defend this pawn without giving up material. Because Bronstein cannot move his f pawn. It's blocked by the queen bishop, so he had to play bishop g5 check. Rook takes and then f6. But after rook g3, Kolmov is 2 pawns down, and his knight on c3 is hanging, and still he is winning. First we note that b takes c3 wouldn't work for Bronstein, because bishop takes h7 check, sorry, not check, but bishop takes h7, followed by a checkmate in a few moves. For example, queen takes, rook takes f8, and queen g8 checkmate. Another possibility for Bronstein was to play rook f7, but then doubling rooks here, and then perhaps giving up 2 rooks for the queen, and then be able to win the rook back for knight, would leave white with the winning position also. So there are a lot of variations, and Kolmov had to either calculate or simply play this on intuition. But in the game, Bronstein didn't play bishop takes e5. Instead, he tried to give back the piece immediately by playing bishop g5 check. And then rook takes g5, f6, defending this h7, and also defending g7. E takes d6, rook queen f7, sorry, rook g3. And now Bronstein grabs another piece, but he is lost. His queen has to defend f8, the rook on f8, and it has to defend g7. And Kolmov takes full advantage. Bishop c4. And if rook g8 here, then rook takes, queen takes, f takes, e6 is clearly winning for white. So Bronstein played c takes b2 check, king b1, knight d8, and then came rook g to g1, and now rook g7 is a threat. Has to be defended with rook a7, then d7, breaking the communication of the defense on g7, so he has to play rook takes g7. And then comes f takes e6, knight takes, and bishop takes e6. And Bronstein's queen cannot leave the defense of the rook on f8, so he has to play rook g1, rook takes, and bishop takes e6. But then simply king takes b2, rook b8 check, king a1, bishop takes a2, rook g to d3, queen e7, king takes a2, queen e6 check, rook b3, and now Bronstein resigned the game. But let's just rewind the game back to where Kolmov played this fantastic. Sorry, just a moment here. Here, where he plays this fantastic knight c6 p-sac because he plans to attack the weak spot on h7. I think this is very beautiful and is a truly amazing move, and one of the best in chess history, if you ask me. So I hope you enjoyed this very nice game and the amazing move knight c6, and I hope to see you on my chess website at clausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.